Hey YouTube, this is the Indy Soul Prepper. Just kind of want to give you one man's opinion of this recent shooting death that involved an officer, an IMPD officer here in Indianapolis. Young man was brandishing AK-47 as I understand it, and killed Officer Perry Wren. And before I start breaking this down and giving you my opinion and whatnot on this incident, this tragedy, I'd like to first say that I'd like to give my condolences to the Wren family and the IMPD. From what I understand, Officer Wren was a fine, upstanding individual who tragically lost his life in the line of duty. Didn't run away from the scene as the chief indicated, and he was a good officer. And you know, these type of men, I mean, it's a waste, you know. I hate to see it, because good men like that, I mean, it's a dying breed. I ran into a man over at the Army surplus the other day here on East Washington. He was an officer of the law, and he was retired. And back when I was a knucklehead, you know, I ran into this man, and he was fair, even though I was a rebellious youth, you know, doing what rebellious youth do in their teens and whatnot. But he was a good man. He was you might say he was the old guard, you know. He still believed in his Constitution, honor, and he believed that, you know, he was serving his fellow citizen by being a good cop. So I shook his hand, you know. I said, "Hey, you remember me?" And I don't know, I'm not quite sure if he did or not. He said he did, but you know, I said, "Hey, I want to shake your hand and tell you thanks," you know. And you know, because I had a run-in with you in my youth, and you were a fair individual. I just wanted to shake your hand and you know, tell him to have a blessed. I told him to have a blessed day, and he said you do the same. And it just felt good all day to do that, because men like that, they are a dying breed. This man was retired. He had a cane. I mean, you know, you could tell he was in severe pain, and that's just, unfortunately, that seems to be what's going on in a lot of these departments. The old guard, you know, the ones with honor and just tremendous courage, you know, under fire, under stress, to still hang on to the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and not infringe on their fellow citizen. You know, how to, you know, determine the right amount of force or the right amount of attitude for the situation, not just to walk around and treat everybody like they're a serf or like everybody's up to no good. You know, this, you know, I love and appreciate officers like that, and this man here seems to be another one that's fallen. You know, it's just a terrible thing. And when I heard the chief speaking about this incident, I know he was upset. I could tell. I mean, it's just like one of his brothers, you know, who's fallen. And I hear the man say, you know, he basically said he can't tolerate, or we shouldn't tolerate somebody having an assault rifle. I'm not quite sure he worded it that way, but you know, he definitely pointed out the fact, you know, we can't have, or you know, basically putting the meme out there that, you know, the assault rifle is bad. The assault rifle didn't do it on its own. We had a troubled youth with a troubled background, a long criminal history, who probably shouldn't have had that weapon. Okay, you know, I'm kind of one of those who would say the Second Amendment is a gun permit. You know, to an extent. You know, obviously you don't give a nutcase or a repeat criminal, you know, offender a firearm. You don't do that. But this is the case I'm making. I don't want to see this tragedy by this fallen officer to be used like Rahm Emanuel said a few years back, never let a crisis go to waste. You know, who's now, you know, mayor in Chicago, and you see what's going on there. Kids are getting killed left and right every weekend. I'm talking about massacres that you ain't seen since the Al Capone days with the St. Valentine's Day massacre. That's happening every weekend, and we just get used to it. Okay, But it ain't the gun. It is the people using it, okay? And you can't single out a weapon that under our Constitution we are allowed to have. Shall not be infringed. I mean, it's plain as day. And I know a lot of officers and people in law enforcement and military would agree. You know, we understand that you can't be there when something's happening to us. The quickest response time that anybody's going to have is themselves. This chief, let's say that the Bloomberg crowd comes in here and they want to take firearms, they want to take semi-autos and everything out of Indianapolis. The police are the ones that's going to be hurt the most because there's going to be so much crime, because there's going to be no equalizer out here on the street. A policeman can't live in your closet and jump out when somebody's trying to kick your back door in because they're going out of their head on meth or whatever the heck's going on. Of any time in history, with everything that's going on, with the border being flooded, with the dollar on the brink of collapse, North Korea, Ukraine, Russia, Iran, Egypt is a powder keg. We're a weak nation. Our Navy's the smallest it's ever been since World War II. And what kept an invasion from happening in this country? What did Emperor Hirohito say? You know, I fear to invading America because I fear that there'll be a gun behind every blade of grass. You bet. And that's why we're a strong and safe nation. And I don't want to see a tragedy like this be used by the gun control crowd to try to take firearms out of the hands of decent citizens who may live in a poverty area, you know, but they're the equalizer out there, okay? You know, a policeman can't be there in your home when the predators are out there who ain't going to turn their guns in, who don't have their guns registered, who either steal them or buy them from nefarious individuals. There's no tracking of that. If you take the guns from the decent people, there ain't going to be no guns for the decent people to protect themselves. Do you understand that? So once again, please, I'm calling upon government officials, police department, military. This is a tragedy, we all agree. But please, let's not use this tragedy and this man's legacy as a policeman to tear apart a constitution and an oath he took. Don't tear apart an oath he took and died for, serving, doing, to try to take guns from decent people. Because we got a radical in the White House. Because we got a soft communist who's ready to go hot. Who disregards the Constitution, who lets Black Panthers intimidate voters at a booth and no charges are filed by the Eric Withholder, who's in contempt of court going on now over a year. Okay? Don't get me started. Don't take guns from decent citizens because some troubled youth out there, did something stupid. Gun control wouldn't have stopped that from happening. Don't you understand that, folks? That's what I want to get through to you. So once again, this is Indy Soul Prepper, just giving you my take. It's just horrible. It's horrible. And for every bad cop that's out there, there's 3 or 4 good ones. Okay, so people, this is the time we all need to be getting together. Talk to your policemen that's out there. Tell them thank you. We appreciate what you're doing. And if you run into a knucklehead, give him some education. Maybe he's an idiot fresh out of the academy who did nothing but play video games all day, and he don't know how to be a good cop. Maybe he don't know the Bill of Rights. He doesn't understand. Maybe he just goes to roll call and he gets fired up, and nobody's teaching him anything about that. There's some citizenry out here that love and appreciate them. So you know what we look like when you see us. And we know a good cop when we see him. So let's keep together. Let's work together. Let's not use this tragedy to try to take guns out of the hands of citizens that might one day save your life. Lord knows, if I had a firearm handy, if I had a firearm handy, and I see a cop outside getting ready to get murdered, don't think for a second that I ain't going to help that man. Okay? I mean, that's just the golden rule, and most of us follow to that. In closing, I'd like to say again, my condolences go out to the family. It's a terrible thing. They will be in my prayers. I encourage my subscribers and those who watch this to please do the same. It's just a terrible thing, but with everything that's going on in the world, good people need to have some defense at home. It's a God-given right. None of you can take that right from us. This ain't North Korea. This isn't communist China. This isn't the formerly Soviet Union. And communism ain't dead. If any of you fools out there think that Russia isn't communist, you're a fool. Because Vladimir Lenin ain't buried yet. Okay? Wake up. Wake up. The man ain't even buried. He's over there under a climate-controlled case. And people from China and all these other communist nations, they go over there and worship the man like he's some type of a deity. I ain't kidding. Look it up. Google it. Okay? We got a soft communist in the White House who's doing little deals with Medvedev earlier, saying, wait until after the re-election, I'll be more flexible. Why don't you think we're doing anything about Ukraine, people? Don't let these commies, these don't get me started. Don't let these infiltrators, these people that's on the fellow travelers, the ones that's on the long march to try and turn this into a communist utopia that ain't never going to happen. It ain't never worked, and it ain't going to work now. This is the last bastion of hope and freedom is left on the earth. So people, educate yourselves. Guns ain't the problem. People are the problem. Parents are the problem. Okay? The schools are the problem. You took the Bibles out of the schools. You're not teaching kids anything. Kids used to be able to go to school and take a gun to school because they were in a shooting club. Michael Savage, for instance, syndicated rock talk radio guy. When he was in high school, he took a gun to school. Was in a shooting club in Queens. So, you know, we have to educate ourselves. And folks, reach out to the police. You know, educate them. If there's a cop you see all the time, if he's working off duty at the Kroger or something, you know, say, hey, man, appreciate what you're doing, man. You know, thank you. You know, and let him know that, you know, the citizens, not every citizen out here is a predator. Not everybody who lives in a poverty area, a low income area, not everybody who lives there is a predator. Not everybody is living and feeding off their own people. Not everybody's doing that. Okay? You know, don't let a few rotten apples spoil the bunch. Not everybody's selling drugs in the community. Not everybody's raping and robbing and pillaging in the community. Don't take a defense. Don't take our unalienable God-given right away because of some fool who was raised in a broken home, probably with not a Bible in the house, okay? Don't try to take the citizenry's rights away because of this. And I know I'm probably getting overzealous here, but this is how you got to do it because the media is relentless. They're going to twist and turn this, and, you know, they're already calling it an assault weapon. It wasn't an assault weapon. An assault weapon would have been opened up fully automatic. And so once again, this was Any Soul Prepper. Like I said, reach out to law enforcement. Give them a pat on the back. You know. Because Lord knows where we'll be without them. Okay? But at the same time, law enforcement, the good ones out there that understand what I'm saying, be a beacon of light in your department. You know? Have that light shining upon you of virtue, of goodness and righteousness, you know? Even if you ain't a God-fearing man that much and you don't pray or nothing, when you put that badge on, man, you're representing your citizens around you that you're protecting. It ain't us against you, and it ain't you against us. Okay? Remember that. Remember that. Well, that's it. Maranatha, y'all, and I appreciate you listening. And till next time, this has been Any Soul Prepper.